Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Volley here, and welcome back to part 5 of What If Naruto Was a Saiyan. Just wanted to greet you guys with saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat, and so we begin. Dashing through the properly named Forest of Death, Team 7 ventured into the fray, dodging kunais that seemed to constantly zoom past from several altercations. After some time, the three-leaf ninja stopped to assess the situation, though the blonde of the group did not seem to like himself. Something's not right, said Naruto, as he walked forward on his own, puzzling his teammates. Stepping onto a pile of leaves, the tailless boy suddenly realized what was about to come. Beneath his foot flashed a massive light, which quickly became an explosion. After a few minutes, the pink-haired Kunoichi's eyes began to flutter open, her vision blurred and tinted blood red. Lifting her palm, the girl delicately rubbed some of the blood that flowed down from her face. It seems that during the explosion, she received a deep cut in her brow that started the flow of blood.
"Oh man, what happened?"
began the girl, until stopping herself with the shocking possibility that her teammate might have perished during that explosion. The paper bomb trap that had been planted had detonated right under the foot of the blonde, causing Sakura great distress.
"Naruto, Sasuke, where are you?"
thought the girl in a panic, avoiding the powerful urge to scream at the top of her lungs, knowing full well that this would make her a target. Gulping audibly, the Cherry Blossom girl reached for her bag, noticing that she still had her team's scroll.
"Oh man, I'm alone with this thing,"
she murmured, looking round at her surroundings. The long-haired teen knew she was in the open and needed to find shelter, while she regained her strength, finding a small opening beneath the root of a large tree. Sakura quickly made her way into the shadows, leaning against the large roots. After regaining her strength, Sakura cautiously emerged from her hiding place, eyes darting around the area, hoping to avoid unnecessary combat. Short after walking a small distance, she could feel an eerie presence roam near. Quickly turning around, a kunai in hand, her heart stopped for just a moment as a woman with long flowing black hair and a grass ninja village headband appeared. "Don't be startled, child. Are you by any chance Sakura Haruno of Team 7? asked the foreign shinobi, a wicked smile forming on her pale face, her straw hat covering her eyes. The pink-haired Kunoichi slowly, with a shaken hand, began to lift her kunai in defense. The enemy nin then raised their hand, gesturing towards the leaf ninja for a response.
"And what if I am? What do you want?"
she responded, holding in her urge to scream, knowing that if she were to raise her voice, others would join, and that would surely spell her doom. Internally, she was going into a panic, hoping her comrades were close enough to provide the necessary backup to get out of the altercation alive.
"Excellent. You'll make perfect bait for the blonde one,"
the woman said, her voice causing chills to flow throughout her body. Reacting to the threat, Sakura jumped back and threw a shuriken towards her assailant's direction, which was caught in a single swipe of their hand. The woman outstretched her palm. It then morphed into a plethora of serpents that all shot out like rockets towards their escaping team. The sharpened fangs of the snakes then bit at her flesh, though the rose-haired girl managed to slash away at the incoming reptiles with her kunai. Using the opportunity, the enemy nin body flickered right in front of the girl, landing a powerful haymaker that, with her backward motion, sent the leaf ninja flying. As she soared through the forest, Sakura's consciousness began to falter from the hit. Following the rocketing body of the leaf ninja was the attacker, who prepared to strike once more. Though suddenly, a powerful blast of flame wrapped around the grass ninja, sending them back into a cloud of pitch-black smoke. Fully expecting to smash against a hard surface, the Kunoichi's speed was suddenly dampened as she found herself in the arms of a familiar youth. As her vision settled, Sakura realized that Sasuke had managed to push back the enemy. "Sakura, are you alright?" asked the ebony-haired youth, his Sharingan eyes locked in the direction of the smoke cloud. A light blush formed on the cheeks of the Kunoichi as she settled herself back on her feet.
"I'm alive thanks to you. Where's Naruto?"
she asked hesitantly, not truly wanting to know the answer, just in case their comrade had fallen. Biting her lip, she looked towards her teammate for answers, though she was met with silence. "We need to move," mumbled Sasuke as they quickly jumped into the trees above, attempting to escape the area. From behind the duo, a massive commotion began to surface as a giant serpent erupted from the greenery. Looking back, Sasuke jumped high and with a fast weaving of hand seals took in a deep breath before exclaiming, "Fire style, great fireball jutsu." A gigantic sphere of flame then blasted towards the serpent, causing the slithering creature to divert towards the side, its eyes blinded by the fire. Flipping backward, the Uchiha survivor continued his way through the trees, finding a cavern in the distance. "Sakura, there!" shouted the boy, pointing towards the cave. The members of Team 7 promptly darted towards the location and into the shadows of the cavern. Sakura dropped to her knees as she hid within, her breath heavy from the exertion. The Sharingan wielder, on the other hand, stood flat against the wall, making sure they were not followed.
Thanks for the save,
she said in gratitude as blood continued to drip from her scalp, her left eye still blinded by the red liquid. Suddenly, the warm touch of a hand shook the pink-haired girl to attention, the eye of her affection looking over the wound that caused the girl to bleed. Cheeks turning red once more, she averted her eyes, knowing this was not the time to be overtaken by emotion. "It's not too deep, but it might have hit a nerve," said the boy, as he pulled out a small jar of ointment and a bandage to take care of the cut. Wincing from the sting of the medicine, she held back her emotion as her mind wandered to the missing member of their group.
"Thanks, Sasuke. I hope Naruto's okay,"
she said in a hushed tone, lips pressed together, attempting to keep it together. Finishing the wrapping of the wound, Sasuke stood and leaned against the stone walls, his eyes returning to the exit. "That loser has to be lost. No way he'd die that easy. At least we're together now," commented the ebony-haired boy, his eyes shifting into their Sharingan state once more, scanning the area for possible foes. The words of the boy caused Sakura to glow brighter, heat emanating from her cheeks, which prompted her to hide her face in her palms in embarrassment. "Rest up. We can't stay here for long," said Sasuke, his eyes never diverting from the exit. After an hour had passed, a familiar hissing caught the ear of the duo, waking Sakura instantaneously. The two Genins locked eyes and nodded as they lifted their kunai and ran out of the cave, running in the opposite directions. At that very moment, a wave of serpents began to pursue the two, following their individual pathways. The ninja ran into the trees, finding themselves avoiding serpent strikes. The sizes of the reptiles seemed to vary from monstrous to the common, though none was to be trifled with. The duo ran in synchronized formation, going around the forest in the shape of a circle. Suddenly, the two met in the center and jumped skywards, the streams of serpents crashing into each other. Once in the air, Sasuke performed a great fireball jutsu, while Sakura launched multiple kunai with paper bombs attached. The strike ignited the forest in flame, blowing the two back higher into the air. Lifting their arms to protect themselves from the blast, they noticed a long looming shadow break through the smoke. A serpent, much larger than the multitude, reached upwards towards them, its large jaw outstretched to consume them whole. The girl gasped at the sight and felt intense pounding in her chest from the adrenaline coursing through her.
"Sakura!"
shouted Sasuke, snapping the cherry blossom youth from her trance. Nodding quickly, the black-haired boy grabbed hold of her ankles midair and launched her towards the snake with tremendous force. Spinning downwards, the youth managed to avoid the jaws of the large reptile, and with one vertical movement, she embedded her kunai that had been infused with chakra and cut the beast open. Utilizing the commotion, the Uchiha boy quickly followed up with another stream of flames, aimed towards the gaping mouth of the snake. The echo of the serpent's crash into the forest grounds echoed through the forest of death, causing many birds to leave the area startled. Landing silently, the two-leaf Genin took a moment to breathe, having taken care of their pursuers. Sakura leaned backward onto a standing tree, her breath still heavy as the blood stain on her bandages seemed to darken slightly. The duo did not exchange words, though they shared a thumbs up as approval of the victory. Just when all seemed to have settled down, a fist suddenly struck the Uchiha boy, sending him to his knees. Towering over him was the same black-haired serpent man from before, his mouth curled into a wicked smile, a serpentine tongue swiping at their lips.
"Sasuke!"
exclaimed the girl before being wrapped tightly by an oversized constrictor that managed to sneak up behind her, trapping her body in place.
"So, this is what the Uchiha clan has to offer.
A pity their sole heir is nothing more but a snot-nosed brat," said the pale-faced man as he grabbed the boy by the throat, lifting him up off the ground.
Maybe you just need an edge to bring you up to par,
he hissed as his face began to transform into one resembling a serpent. Large, sharp fangs protruding from his mouth. In a quick motion, the man bit into the boy's shoulder, causing him intense pain. His screams filled the forest while his body squirmed, attempting an escape. Sakura cried out to her comrade, tears running down her cheeks as she was currently immobile and useless in a rescue. As the serpent man retracted his fangs, a black-like tattoo symbol began to form on the boy's flesh. As his body was released, Sasuke fell limp on the ground, his eyes whitened and empty. That caused Sakura to scream louder, her shrieks of sorrow and fear reaching the ends of the examination grounds. Reaching towards the entrapped girl, the enemy nin grabbed hold of her long locks and began to pull tightly, causing her great pain. Lifting a blade, the pale-faced man smiled wickedly, trying to release herself, though this was to no avail. Sakura's eyes shut tightly as she witnessed the androgynous man lift her arm to stab the girl's neck. Though, instead of instantaneous death, she heard a large loud of clanging of metal by her ear, followed by the pressure around her being released. An orange blur passed by her as the serpent released her and vanished in a puff of smoke. The serpent man now in contact with the orange blur across the field. A powerful gust of wind then separated the two combatants, as a blond boy now stood strong, his eyes locked onto his opponent.
Naruto,
shouted Sakura, never having felt this happy to see her teammate. The relief of knowing he was alive and that he had come to their rescue was overwhelming to say the least. Tears of joy rolled down her face, staining it with a mixture of water and dirt. The pink-haired girl took no time to crawl towards the unconscious Sasuke to check on his condition, while Naruto faced their powerful opponent.
Finally, my prey has arrived,
said the man, his sharp, snake-like eyes shooting daggers onto the blonde. The orange-garbed boy, though, remained still, his body in a steady combat stance, his demeanor uncharacteristically serious, and concentrated on the task at hand.
Oh, no response? Fine, I don't need one,
said the man, as he lunged forward, holding his kunai tightly in his grip. Naruto in turn exhaled softly, before seeming to vanish from his standing position. Meeting the attacker in the center, he swung his left hand, diverting the attacking arm of the pale man, pushing it aside, then swiftly, spinning back, throwing a kick to the side, which was caught tightly by the opponent. Feeling his leg trapped, Naruto twisted his body to slam his heel to the side of the man's head, causing him to stagger. Now released, the blonde continued his spinning momentum as his palm touched the ground. He forced his legs to spin in a propeller-like motion. Pushing himself off the ground, he crossed his fingers before exclaiming,
"Wind style, twisting terror!"
Rapidly, Naruto's body began spinning like a top at incredible speeds, causing a twister to pull the stunned attacker into the storm. The man attempted to resist the wind pressure, but was taken off his feet into the stream of air. Flowing the tunnel of air, a multitude of shadow clones appeared within the stream. A grouping of clones quickly weaved hand signs before shouting in unison,
"Wind style, hurricane drop!"
The rushing winds then suddenly intensified as they launched the clones and serpent into the skies before sending them crashing down to the earth. The blast of air caused the ground to crater, lifting the earth itself and uprooting trees and the surroundings. The clones had dispersed by the great winds, leaving only Naruto standing, his eyes still transfixed onto the direction of the mutant attacker, his condition still unknown.
"Sakura, if you can still move, go and take Sasuke for cover. I'll hold him off as long as I can,"
said the raspy voice Genin, aware that his battle was far from over. The startled Kunoichi did as instructed and forced herself to her feet, pulling her black-haired comrade arm over her shoulder and dragging him away. Looking over her shoulder, she bit her lip, wishing she could do more. From within the crater, the rustling of dirt and fallen wood began to come to life. As the now disheveled individual rose to their feet, cracking his neck, the man began to step out of the dirt, his clothing now torn and covered in earth.
"I underestimated you. It seems I might have found what I was looking for,"
screeched the man, a wide, vicious smile forming on his smudged face. his eyes sharp like blades with an aura of death and destruction emanating from him, causing great pressure to impact the blonde.
"You hurt my friends, you bastard! For that you're gonna pay!"
replied Naruto in defiance as he dug his heels onto the earth and jumped to face his largest challenge yet. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in the story this far. Hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, we've got a primary channel called We the Celestials. We the Celestials is what we do here already, but their content is centered around the crazy world and lore of My Hero Academia. So please, check us out over there if you're feeling in the mood for a roller coaster of quirky content. We also have another relative to our channel, Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes deep into the facts and lore of a wide variety of anime. It's sure to expand your weeb knowledge for all kinds of series. Guaranteed. I'd like to let you all know, on the behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. If you're perhaps interested in what we do here at WTC, then I would like to extend out an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being is we only accept members 16 and older to join our crew. You can find us on our Discord, which you can locate in the description below. Our Discord is an all-around fantastic place to be. Whether you're a fan or looking to join our band of misfits, all you gotta do is hit up the recruitment server and sign up for whichever category of work fulfills your interests. We're always looking for new members to join us. Well, that's it for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and have a great day.